Hey guys, Waifu Belector here, the only fair human on Earth, and I just want to have a little chat about the cost of gaming, where it is, where it's going, all that sort of thing. Because a lot of stuff has been happening lately, a lot of factors are both seemingly and definitively moving things in certain directions, so I just figured I'd give my perspective and add my 2 cents into it. Now, obviously, to open this up, the sort of ringing of the chow bell, as it were, came from Nintendo and their announcement of $80 Mario Kart, right? A big uproar and a big stink came along with that announcement, as well as just a bunch of misinformation alleging that all first-party games on Switch 2 were gonna be $80. Now, will that be the case in the future? Well, we'll talk about it. But as of then and now, that's not the case. But still, this announcement was the first big thing in the line of developments, and Nintendo sort of broke the seal, you know? They broke the fucking seal, or at least that's how it's looked at. Because there is the potential that $80 games work out for Nintendo, and so other publishers follow suit, with their whole defense being, well, Nintendo did it first. So Nintendo's announcement generated a fear that we might be seeing the beginning of the $80 game being normalized. And I wouldn't say that that's an unwarranted fear either. Now, no politics because yuck. But the fact of the matter is the US-Chinese trade war, specifically the exorbitant tariffs imposed on China by the US president, have also increased importing costs for manufacturers. And as you might imagine, businesses and corporations aren't just gonna lie down and eat all that cost, of course not. They're more incentivized to pass that cost down to us, the consumer. Now, how much of that cost gets passed down to us is gonna vary from place to place, but clearly we'd expect to be affected negatively on some level from all 3 of the big game companies and maybe even other publishers additionally. We already saw this effect on both Nintendo and Xbox hardware, with the Xbox price increases being particularly insane. The Series S went up $80 and the Series X went up $100. Just fucking crazy. And that's to say nothing of the additional accessories like controllers and headsets, which all also went up. I'll be honest, I have no idea what the hell this was. What the fuck was this? It felt like Xbox saying, stop buying Xboxes. Xbox is already below and behind PlayStation and Nintendo. Now Xbox's product is priced well over the perceived value. It almost feels like a white flag damn near, but whatever. Back to our biggest question for this video, and that is whether or not the cost of games and gaming in general will be going up sort of permanently in the future. And I do have my predictions about that I'll get to in a second, but I'm just laying out the events and reasons first. And like I said, Nintendo may have possibly opened the floodgates, because along with the wild price increases of Xbox's hardware, they also said that they'd start shipping $80 games later this year. This is in regard to their first party games in particular. So, based on that, you may assume that we have our answer about the cost of gaming, but still, I'm not sure if everyone follows suit exactly. Is the price of gaming going up? Yes. But is it going up universally and permanently? Maybe not. Because take the Xbox hardware increase for instance. I mentioned that Nintendo was also affected by tariffs, but rather than raise the price of their console at all, let alone a whopping $80, they instead left the price the same but increased the price of all their accessories by about $10. A much better decision and more favorable look in the eyes of people as opposed to what Xbox did. So when Xbox says that all their first-party games are going up to $80, I don't know that we can assume that everyone will mimic them. Yes, Nintendo is selling Mario Kart for $80, but that's because they know you'll pay $80 for Mario Kart specifically. They aren't attempting the $80 price tag for Donkey Kong Bonanza. They're being strategic with what games they attempt to increase the price on. And they were even doing that on the original Switch with games like Tears of the Kingdom. While the base price of a new first-party Switch game was $60 at the time, Tears of the Kingdom was $70. And that was only because they knew you'd pay that for one of their most anticipated games. What Xbox is doing is a little more ridiculous. And then you also have EA coming out and saying that they have no plans to increase the price of their games. So yeah, it would seem not everyone is going to follow suit. But I do think that people with big, hugely anticipated games are going to start slapping the $80 base price on it. Now, in the event that these gaming corporations and publishers get cocky and decide that the $70 price tag that they just barely implemented 5 years ago is already going up to $80 across the board, oh, I think they're in for a rude awakening. I don't think people are going for that. I think if the base price went up to $80 universally in terms of all AAA games, that there would be a sizable lack in a portion of sales hitting most games, and it would cause the $80 tag to fall right back down. But I don't think the industry in its entirety is cocky enough to try it. Not right now. I do think, however, that as every publisher is trying to strategically choose which games could possibly be priced at $80, someone's gonna overestimate their IP and just be completely fucking wrong. Something like a fucking Sonic game tries to charge $80, something like something like that. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. They would do it too. Sega and Sonic Team would do it and just be wrong as fuck in the process. Yeah, someone is gonna make a bad call, and maybe they end up readjusting the $70 before launch, or maybe they don't, and they learn their lesson afterwards. But someone will make that mistake, mark my words. But yeah, for a while now, this isn't completely new because of the tariffs or Mario Kart or whatever. For a while now, we've been moving into a set your own price kind of market for gaming. It's been happening longer than people care to take notice. The Tears of the Kingdom situation that I cited was a big moment in that. At least it was to me. And so it's not just going to be a one price fits all model for AAA gaming or otherwise. These prices will be strategically thought out on a case-by-case basis. And it'll always be a combination of what the publisher thinks the game is worth and what they think you're willing to pay for it. And that second part will always be the part they won't say. When you ask why Mario Kart is $80, they can't just say, because we know you'll pay it. Because that then prompts you to go, I'll show you, no I won't, and then they lose out on sales from people trying to make a point. So instead they just say, that's what we think the game is worth. It's that much better. So is the price of gaming going up? We'll ask again. Well, yeah, it is. And that sucks. That's not cool. Gaming's already an expensive hobby. But still, for whatever it's worth, I don't think that things are going to go up to as bad of a point as some people think. And I don't think most of us who enjoy gaming will be priced out of the hobby altogether. You might be priced off your Xbox though. No, I'm kidding, kind of. But alright, just wanted to have this little chat. I've had my eye on all of this the whole time, but I was playing Expedition 33, and then I wanted to talk about Fatal Fury, but whatever. I got around to this topic still because it still felt worth talking about. Let me know your thoughts if you have any. Us gamers gotta stick together, man. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Check out my channel to get a greater sense of my content. I wish you all the best, and until next time, I am Waifu Collector. I am just a normal guy. I like hentai, and I hate price increases. Goodbye.